Hey, American Horror Story fans, we are back for the season finale of Season 8, Apocalypse. Stay tuned right here on AfterBuzz TV.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Dum, dum, dum.
It's so sad that this is our last time hearing this music for a while.
It doesn't even feel right,
It doesn't.
right?
No, it's too short. It's those 10 episodes.
I know. I can't
Not
believe
used to it.
I can't believe it's over.
I can't either.
Over for now.
Has it
though.
really been 10 weeks?
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have been with us for 10 weeks. We've been together for 10 weeks.
I know.
It's been a great 10 weeks though, right?
It's been a good time.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us here for the season finale of American Horror Story. This is Season 8, Episode 10, Apocalypse Then. This was a kind of good episode. For me personally, a little disappointed with the ending. But before we get into all of that, let's introduce ourselves. I'm your host, Ashley Allen.
Hey guys, I'm Jennifer Leone.
And I'm Kayla Renee. We're missing Elena.
Yeah,
Elena.
Elena's not here, but
Yeah.
she's here in spirit.
Definitely.
So she sends her love, and you guys go show her some love on social media. I'm sure, hopefully she'll join in with the chat with us
Yes.
today. But first, what did you guys think? What were your overall feelings about this episode?
Ooh, Jen, go first.
Waiting for someone to actually say it. Honestly, I think it was super rushed. It was like boom, 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 boom. And
Yeah.
all the writers were sitting in the room just kind of like, all right, let's make this happen. Let's make this happen. They all had their bullet points. And, let's just make him get ran over by a car. Okay. It's like everything that was like the first thing that they thought of, I feel like they just did it.
Yeah.
I was expecting something more out of the box that kind of predicted all of it, which doesn't usually happen. And it's good that they tied up all the loose ends on certain things. I have certain questions, but I'll bring them up later.
Okay.
Definitely kind of agreeing with Jen. Like, I low-key felt like it was a little rushed, just a tad. It was like so many, us taking notes just for our after show. It was just so many different bullet points, like she was saying, that it was so many grounds to cover, you know what I mean? And at the end, it was just kind of like, that was it.
Yeah. Same. I feel like I enjoyed the episode
Definitely.
up until maybe the last 5-10 minutes. And honestly, the ending, I'm like, we went through all of this for that.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't completely disappointed, but I just felt like it could have been better. Maybe gone a different direction or something.
Yeah, I feel like because we got so much in the first, not first, I'll say episode 3 and 4, 5, 6. We were like, okay, we're in this. We're so excited for what's gonna come next, and it just kind of went flat. And it's like, come on, just one. We just
were all
wanted...
wondering too.
Yeah. And you guys in the chat, let us know what did you think about this episode. Send us your tweets. Tell us in the chat. Later on in today's episode, we're going to talk about our predictions, what we think is going to happen for the next season of American Horror Story and all that great stuff. Do you guys want to give some people in the chat some shout-outs today?
Shout out to Nas for holding it down all season for sure. For sure, off the top. Karina, shout out to Karina. She's been in here chatting it up. Let's see a couple of people. Tyler Durden. Jen, you have any? Ellen Yale.
I mean, Nas, MVP.
Yeah,
MVP.
Nas is for sure. Like, Nas, if we had an award to give you, we would give you something. But and real quick, all of our viewers, if you guys are wondering where Elena is, she went home for the holidays. You guys, she's on a plane going to Alabama right now.
But she will be back next season.
Yes.
Yeah,
Her.
absolutely.
All right, so this episode, we started out with a bang. My spirit animal, my person that I was for Halloween, Myrtle, came in with a bang, and that hair and that sass. She was throwing a lot of shade.
Yeah, real
in this
shade
episode.
too.
I love
She
her
gotta
lines.
come through, yeah.
Great lines.
Yes, a lot of great lines.
My hair is a mystery.
Yes. So she came to pay Mutt and Jeff a visit, pretty much to threaten them. What do you guys think about that?
I don't understand, though, if Myrtle said at a point, make sure that there's a spot for Coco and her family.
Right.
But then she killed them right after. So it's like, well, maybe she was just saying that and she made room for them, but like they had no time to make room.
Right.
Or have time for extra tickets. So
I kind of was thinking, because it was Coco's dad, mom, and brother, right? So it's like 4 people in total. So it's like, I kind of feel like those were like the 4 witches, you know what I mean? Like, hey, make room for these people, but it'll be like us that'll be coming. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the parents died, but it's like they kind of took their place of being in that bunker.
That's what I thought. Or maybe when she said family, she meant like the hairdresser, the assistant, which was the other.
That. But they never actually had time to make room because she killed them right away. She killed them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So there's no point where she would have time, or I mean, unless she just made the spots herself and went just, you know, poof.
Right.
Yeah. For the ones who are listening, I'm like doing this motion on camera. But I feel like, you know, how did some things happen? There was just things that went really fast or things that weren't really addressed. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay. What did you guys think about her interaction with Miss Venable?
Someone said,
That was so funny.
that they didn't die. No, they died. Mutt and Jeff died.
Yeah, she killed
Yeah,
them.
she killed them. Why are you guys trying to tell me otherwise? They're dead.
To be honest, I'm like, I didn't even like grasp that they were dead. I was just like,
dead.
before she walked out, she did this thing
because she
with
had
her
they're
hands.
silent, like she had their mouths like closed, or Jeff's Mutt,
Mutt
whatever.
and Jeff.
Yeah.
She had their mouths closed, so that I couldn't like say anything while she kind of had her last little speech.
I could have swore she killed them. If she did not,
They're
we are
dead.
totally mistaken, because she said, "I'm going to kill you," and then she did a little spell, and then they started shaking, and then that was it.
Yeah, they died.
I thought their breath came back, but I don't.
And that's why we didn't see them at all. And that's why Michael was controlling Meade.
I thought when she walked out, he was like, ugh. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I finally got my breath back type of thing. I don't know. Look.
Now we gotta watch again.
I know, we gotta go back.
Anyway.
That's the mystery. Whatever
Sorry,
happened to Jeff and
let's go
Mutt.
back to what we were talking about, because I thought they're dead.
What did you think about her interaction with Miss Venable?
That was the classiest shade. Like,
I mean, I
That's so
absolutely
funny.
loved her line. She said, "Purple is for royalty, dear, not for middle management." That's
like,
cold.
that's a read.
I just love how Sarah Paulson can just be so just diverse, and everyone can just be different characters. Like there was no point where I was like, oh, that's Cordelia talking to, you know, her, and it's never crossed my mind. I just really love that.
Yeah. So then we go to the swamp house, and we see Cordelia. We see all of the other witches. They're gathering. They're coming up with the plan, and they're talking about this identity spell that we were introduced to earlier in the season. And we learn finally how it comes about, how it's gonna work. I did appreciate seeing that. What did you guys think about that?
Me as well, yeah, because I definitely was like, I'm glad they brought up those certain points that we were like, whatever happened when this happened, or what happened to this, and it was like all those scenes kept coming back, like it was like a flash forward, and now it's kind of bringing it back into full circle. So I was like, yeah, I was happy to see how everything is tying in.
Yeah, total tie-in that made sense, and it was given the right amount of time.
Yeah.
That was the one part that didn't feel rushed to me. It was
like the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, and they had their moment, and Leslie Grossman actually tweeted out, she's like, see you guys, like, I've been waiting for this moment because she's been actually nice and under an identity spell. So I feel like everyone was just hating on Coco and this whole time.
Yeah.
You know, we love her.
And I thought it was kind of cool that she pretty much took on like the personality of Madison. So we kind of got that Madison back even when she wasn't there necessarily.
I love that Myrtle explained it too. Like she was like, you know, you're not going to be like your same type of person or whatever that you think you are. But it was like, it's funny to give her that identity.
And Coco's like, no, there's got to be another way. Consider it an upgrade, bitch. I don't know. I think it's funny.
And I think the other thing that I really appreciated about Myrtle, going back to her in this episode in particular, is, you know, we've seen her kind of be like the mama bear to all of the different witches and stuff like that. But today we got to see her in her own element, you know what I'm saying? Like showing that she still has her power. She's still there. You know what I mean? And her being one of my favorite characters of the witches, I really loved seeing that from her today. Yeah.
Agreed.
I want her little portrait that was at the end.
I know, right?
I'm like, how do we get that?
That was a great portrait. I thought of that myself. I'm like, would it be weird if I had just like a portrait, or just random people would have portraits in their house?
It's on eBay. All the Coven characters.
But I tell you what,
No, it would be of me. Like I would have it. Like
you want your own?
Yeah, of myself.
I don't know why I just first thought of like sidebar, a little like remember on Matilda how the Trunchbull had the picture of her like
yes.
Oh, no.
That's what I want.
That was like the first thing I thought of. I always thought it would be creepy to have a picture of yourself.
I think it's totally creepy, but like in a Paris Hilton way that I like.
In a fashionable way.
I can see if it's like me and my family, but anywho.
So we got to see how Brock and Coco met each other. And really just got like the whole dynamic. A lot of backstory we got in this episode. We got to see Dinah Stevens. She got her show. And I wasn't really expecting to see like have that puzzle piece put together.
I didn't
that
either.
she finally like got her show and that they put it together, that she portrayed them. What did you guys think about her betrayal and that she decided to go through with it? And
I was so happy that they realized it. I was like, I know they're not about to end the episode like we're not gonna know what happened to Dinah Stevens, but it was like that whole just like scene was like, okay, like now we see where everything, you know what I mean? It was like Madison figured it out, went back, told everybody, and they're like, no. Cordelia was like, we about to put that bitch under a little spell. We about to get her back. Like she thinks she popping. No, we about to show her like what she's really made of, and clearly it was nothing.
Yeah.
Miss Laveau.
I love though that Madison's first thought is she had to make a deal with Satan to get her own show.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I feel like that was like the obvious reason.
Yeah, it's just great.
Because as we saw, like all the other Satanists got something out of the deal for making, becoming a servant of him. So that was her one thing. And then she probably, we've seen in the past that the Coven and the Voodoo Queens have always, butted heads in the past. So what would she owe them at the end of the day?
Nothing.
The witches.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
She tried to gamble with the witches.
Yeah. What was one of you guys, just a quick question, what was one of you guys' favorite moments of tonight's episode?
I really like.
I'm like, oh, give me a second.
I like the close-up of Madison when she's the Uber driver and she's just like, give me 5 stars, smoking her cigarette, and I don't know, I just really love her, and I love her character, and I love how they did bring back Murder House.
That's
In a certain way. I kind of wish they didn't have time. I really wish that they added maybe 3 more episodes and made this just bleed out a little bit.
Just a little,
and gave us a little bit inside Murder House. I thought it was interesting that they lived in Murder House together because Constance and Michael, because I thought that they were next door. But turns out that they were next door, then moved back to Murder House, and I love that whole scene. I love Constance and how no mercy she was. And those certain things made me happy.
I was happy to see Angela Bassett come back as Maria Menounos. I was like, oh my God, I threw my hands up and was like, yes, oh my God, this is amazing.
That was my favorite moment.
Agreed.
You can't have, first of all of these other,
bringing back the iconic,
Yes, and not have her. So to have her today, that was my
She took time out of her busy 911 schedule.
Yes.
I feel like we always forget, though, that Kathy Bates is playing, these intense characters.
I
because
know.
we're just like, oh no, she's just a part of the show. I don't know. I think of her as just this character that keeps just adding to the other characters.
Absolutely.
So seeing her with Marie Laveau was also awesome.
Yeah. I feel like if I ever met Kathy Bates in real life, I might be scared after this season.
Low key.
She's so good.
She's so good.
I would be scared.
I'd be not really scared. I'd be intimidated. I'd be like, ooh, what's going to happen? But I'd be so excited. I'd just be like a little kid. Oh.
Yeah. So back to this episode, we did see Myrtle, Madison, and Cordelia emerge from the ground, which was after the apocalypse. Now, was I mistaken that they were down there for a year or buried for a year? Did she say that? Or how long were they buried?
Yeah, she said a year or two.
They
But
came
I don't
out
know.
looking great.
Right.
That part two. It was
That
like
was great.
it cut to that iconic scene of them walking up with the little shadows and the mist and stuff. But at the same time, I don't know, from that point of them coming out the dirt, I don't know why I started getting a little confused. Like the timing and everything just kind of started, was like, okay, it was like a lot of like cutting and then flashing back and stuff. And I was just like, wait, so did they survive, or like who died? You know what I mean? I was like, how did they, like, what happened?
Quick.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was quick.
So it was like, basically, did they hide themselves because they knew what was going to happen, but because of their plan, like, you know what I mean? Because of what Cordelia had in mind of like, how, no, we're going to save the world. This is why they came back, type of thing. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to grasp it.
I'm wondering, more curiosity. It might not even be relevant for the actual episode. The people in the chat are confirming that they were buried for a year, but I'm wondering, like, how did they survive? Like, what did they, how did that happen?
It must be some type of spell, but you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll
year
get
and a half,
revealed.
18 months.
Year and a half? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they finally get inside the coven. We see Michael. Long hair Michael is back. Sexy Michael is back.
Michael.
Sexy Michael. Can we get like some kind of lights for Sexy Michael?
I know, yes.
I'm like, yes.
Sexy Michael.
He was red hot. Like,
Cody
ooh.
Fern.
Yes.
He must be using like Pantene or something. Like, I want my hair to be as shiny as his hair.
The fact that Myrtle, like, after he got shot and was like, let me go touch his hair.
It's so silky.
It's so silky.
This
I
is my
love
only
that they
moment.
call everything out. Like, I
Yes.
just love that about the writing. It's so
Yes.
funny to me.
Honestly, like, and that's one thing that I love about American Horror Story, period, is that we get the horror, we get the blood, we get the guts, but we also get a lot of humor. It's funny.
We loved it.
We love it. All right, so we finally get to see this confrontation, the head-on-head situation that we have been waiting for pretty much this entire season.
Yeah.
So we have the witches, and we have Michael and Miss Meade standing at the top of the stairs. Well, first, of course, we bring the witches back from their identity spell.
Their identity spells.
What did you guys think was going to happen? Before anything happened, you saw Michael and Miss Meade standing up there. You saw the witches down there. What were you thinking? Were you anxious?
I was definitely anxious. To be honest, I thought it was going to be like some full-blown Harry Potter, what is it, Voldemort, like battle, you know what I mean, with the wands or whatever, with the powers, like, going back and forth type of thing. But it was real brief. I was like, oh, this fight started and ended real fast.
It had to be quick. They only had like...
They did. They had like 5 minutes.
This episode should have even been longer, like an hour and a half.
I agree.
It was just like... I was thinking actually that he could at any point just snap his fingers and snap all their necks.
True.
And take all their souls. And I think that he would have been just that ruthless to do that. So I was like, kind of like waiting. Why was he waiting for so long for them to talk and do the whole introduction with the voodoo queen? And it's like, okay, I'm expected to believe that the Antichrist is standing there watching this all go down and having their moments. And I'm like, but okay, I'll go with it. Let's see what happens and see when he actually kills them all and how this goes down.
Yeah.
So then, Madison grabbing the gun and everything, it made sense to me, but
it all happened so fast. Like, I was like, I'm just, going back again. I just thought it was going to be like kind of like a little battle going back and forth. And it was just like, no.
That's where I started getting disappointed because I'm like, I was expecting like this big brawl, this big fight.
Yes.
Like something to like really make us like, oh my God.
Good.
You know what I mean? And the episode was great up until then. I just think it started going down maybe a time saver / cheesy road.
It did.
I just kind of wanted a little more action at that point.
that makes sense. I mean, we got action when Billy came in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a good part. But that was the one part. It's like, wait, did I blink?
Yeah.
And, he stabs her, then everything.
It's funny
goes down.
because literally all season we've always been like, what the hell happened to Brock? Like, or whatever Brock's character, like, who was in the bunker this whole entire time from the beginning? Like, episode 1, like, where was he at? How is he surviving? How is he living? No, he's been hiding in a little closet to come out and stab somebody to say he should have been on that plane.
Yeah. I did get really worried when Mallory got stabbed. I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen here? But of course, I did kind of figure that, okay, Cordelia is gonna have to die, or something's gonna happen. Did you guys kind of predict that?
Yeah, definitely.
Did you guys predict that was gonna happen?
Yeah, I was like, there's no way she's just gonna like kill herself and nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah. because, and they've been kind of hinting to that this entire season that, she, like, the next Supreme is going to have to rise, and that's why her powers are fading and yada, yada, yada. So it was a little predictable.
It definitely
was.
It was like you waited till the last episode to find out, like, Mallory gained all her powers.
Yeah.
Like,
Jeremy in the chat says they tried to put gore in there to substitute the actual action that we all wanted.
That's a good point.
That's true.
I think so.
With the heart eating and all of that. Yeah.
I mean,
I was
it was
disappointed too.
cool. I appreciated it, but I still wanted to see a fight. I still wanted to see a battle.
yeah.
Someone says, who is Supreme with the new timeline, Cordelia or Mallory? They're both Supremes in their own timeline.
See, that's what I was
Oh.
getting confused too. I was like, how the timelines was going, it was just kind of confusing. I started getting a little lost at the end. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so maybe next season is going to be who's the actual Supreme, what's going on with Mallory, and the messed up timeline, because you can't change what happens.
Because it was weird. I mean, kind of like, I guess not really going a little forward. It was like when, Mallory was in the house in Coven, and it was like Cordelia, Misty came back, Nan or whatever. It was like Mallory knew something that nobody else knew. You know what I mean? Did you guys catch her demeanor and
Absolutely.
like the glints in her eyes and stuff like that? You know what I mean? Like,
No, she knew about everything.
Yeah, exactly.
She
it's like
did
she
everything.
knew everything
Yeah.
that was going on. So
She
it's like,
knew
I don't know. It's like, is she Supreme, or is this kind of, I'm like, where does Cordelia come into it again?
Okay, so Mallory was able to go back in time, so she remembers everything, but
Yes.
everyone else does not remember
okay.
anything.
Okay,
She
yeah.
is the reason all of them are even there in that house alive and breathing.
Okay,
Yeah.
Queenie, Zoe. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm picking them back up to where they left off. Okay.
But the fact that she knew about Queenie dying at the Cortez,
yeah, and she
that
was like,
is
don't go
something.
downtown. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's something extra because I don't think that she would
wasn't around.
She wasn't around.
Yeah.
Well, I guess then she would be. Like, if you think about it, it's like she just totally knew everything.
right.
She did.
So I'm like,
So
she has to
then-
be the Supreme.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is she really the Supreme, or is she something higher, a higher power than
Well,
the
yeah, I was thinking like the new Jesus,
The-
like
the
the second
angel, huh?
coming.
Yeah, like,
well,
okay.
they say the second coming of Christ. So for that, then I don't know. Maybe she would be it.
That's true.
Supreme? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. She's got to be, and
was a
that
lot.
proves the point as to why her and Cordelia were even able to coexist in the future,
Right.
Because two Supremes can't technically be around,
yeah.
so she must have to be a higher power of some sort,
Oh, good point.
right?
Yeah, that
If
makes
Cordelia's
sense.
still around, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Nas. Hold on. Let's see what Nas has to say.
Ooh,
She
Nas.
was around. She was with friends with Queenie, and Queenie came back. All right, I don't know who we're taling about,
She
but
was.
I just felt
We're
that we
talking-
should talk about
We're
Nas.
talking about Mallory.
Oh, okay.
She was around.
Oh, okay. So she was. That makes sense. There were a lot of time jumps, so they would have gotten to know each other and knew each other's stories.
Okay.
I don't know. It does get confusing, I guess, especially if we only watch once.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to kind of see everything, and then also think about the years, because technically, I mean, I think Ryan Murphy knew that we were just all talking about how Cortez was up until, what was it, 2023 or something.
Yeah.
So that would make sense that this would be up until that time. So maybe they even go back to Cortez with Devil's Night and with the Antichrist, because
have
he
to
wasn't
see.
there.
Right.
I wonder.
So let's rewind back a little bit. So we didn't get this battle that we were kind of all hoping for, but we did get to see the head-to-head face-off with Michael and Cordelia.
I was here for it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I didn't really expect her to kill herself. I figured she was going to sacrifice herself in some sort of way.
Totally.
I didn't expect her to stab herself, though.
I thought she was gonna slit her neck, like, to be honest. But
Okay.
she was gonna kill herself. Like when she got the knife to come to her, I just felt like in that moment I was like, okay, she's gonna kill herself.
Yeah, they like to slice throats.
Yeah, I was gonna
True.
say that's the thing, the thing to take the knife. But she was like, no, I'm gonna do something worse.
Yeah. And by the way, though, Michael soaking up his blood.
Ooh.
That was, that
That's kind of weird.
And I'm really shocked on what they're able to show on TV.
So
Listen,
gory.
you can do anything you want on TV nowadays.
I don't
Say
know.
whatever you
Am I
want.
that like?
At
I
least
don't know.
FX. Like, FX is really like, we're not holding anything back.
I felt like it's like Showtime type stuff. Like it's a little rough.
Seems to be on HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting, too, that technically, I guess he can die for a few minutes and then come back to life. That was interesting.
That was kind of weird. It's like, no, if he's like
'Cause
the
I would expect
Antichrist
him
and the
not to
powers,
just
yeah, exactly.
die.
Like, no, he should have just been like, his little wounds should have healed up real fast and then
Yeah.
came back.
Yeah.
But it was
Maybe
like,
he was
oh, he died
faking
for
it.
5 minutes and then came back.
He was
Like,
faking
Needed
it.
to reboot.
He needed to reboot, soak up all his blood, rejuvenate, like a spa.
It was so creepy to see Meade explode and all her little like radioactive
Yeah, what
ointment
was
come
that
out or whatever.
song? What was that
Something
song?
like Daisy or something like that. And I was like, I don't know the name of it, but I'll have to see. It was creepy though.
Yeah, they didn't play that before, not from what I remember. So I don't know
the
where that's
Daisy
from.
song.
It would have been better if she was singing that that one song, "You Belong to Me."
Yeah.
That would be the only thing I would think is kind of creepy.
Yeah. And then to be honest, like as soon as she was killed, like I was expecting him to just completely lose
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set everybody on fire, like
Yeah,
everybody was
just
gonna die. And he
in
was like, no,
everything.
yeah.
Souls gone, burnt up.
And that's not what happened.
No.
He was very calm.
We couldn't predict it. Like anything we thought was gonna happen didn't happen.
But you know what? Like everything that Cordelia said to him before she killed herself is what I've been feeling about this whole time. Like he's always needed some sort of reassurance or a battery in his back to say, "You're the Antichrist. This is what you're capable of." Like he's always needed that reassurance from people.
Well, think about the difference between heaven and hell, Satan and God. If you think about it biblically, it's, Satan wants you to feel alone and just not confident. And it's interesting that he would bring that even on his son, who's so powerful.
Right.
Even the most powerful in evil is kind of not. And also not even like that. He might have been evil when he was 15 or however old he was. And he still, kind of backed down and was crying and to Constance.
Right.
I think in that moment he was supposed to be like 8
Yeah, something like that.
because he
Whatever.
was still like little because his little 10-year
Yeah.
aging, you know what I mean? So it was like he was
Right.
8 when he was with Constance, and then it was like when he turned 18, that's when he was with Meade, and then it was like
Yeah.
when he's older, he's 28.
However old, he was just backing out. And I was like, okay, the Antichrist, like,
He's a big old baby.
Yeah, I
like,
figured he would just. He definitely has a lot of Vivian in him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
True.
That is true. Ooh.
So let's go to the point where we see that Cordelia kills herself. Now Mallory has the powers to travel back in time and take care of Michael like the plan they set. Did you guys think he was going to go out like that?
I didn't, to be honest. Going back to what Jen was saying, like that him being hit by the car was just kind of like that was
so
it.
disappointing. Like
Like,
I was.
This is how we're taking him out from the beginning, or
they went with the first thing that came to mind. They were like, what is the least way that you'd expect the Antichrist to be killed? Well, let's just run him over with the Suburban. Okay.
the Uber XL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
And also how weak he was. I thought that maybe he should have had a little bit of like evil at the end too. Like after being really sweet, look at Constance and be like F you or something, like something like we see in The Exorcist. Like his head turning around or something. He just died pretty weak.
To be honest, I think if we could kind of change that moment, like I would have had Constance, like, because we went back, it was like we seen him in the room, killing the priest or whatever, playing video games. It was real brief in like episode 6 or whatever. But it's like now that they went back to that scene and now it's like more drawn out, we got to see what exactly happened and how he like left the house or whatever. But I would have liked to see Constance kill him. You know what I mean? Like that would have been like a whole like, oh crap, like
Oh yeah, like stomp on his face or
something.
Curb
They were like,
stomp him.
she was like, oh, like I
American
know,
History
you know what I
X
mean? She
now.
was like, you're not my grandson, blah blah blah. Get out. She's like super enraged with him. You know what I mean? So it would have been like funny to see the tables turn and like her kill him.
I do love her lines where she was like, I see my son's eyes in you, but you're not him. I don't care who you are. Get out and never come back. Which explains why he was out in the streets. Like we were wondering where Constance left him.
Yes.
So there it is.
Exactly.
But it's not what happened the first time around. This is the second time when Mallory came back. So Mallory had to go back in time to kill him.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I did appreciate seeing her not save him.
Yeah.
Because I was really like, oh my God, is she gonna do this? Like, you can't be serious.
Don't put him in Murder House.
Yeah.
Like, okay, then his spirit would still be alive in Murder House. So then what would happen? And then obviously next season would be Murder House again.
Yeah.
But thank God.
They're like, no, they're not going to.
And, like, I just think that Mallory... Honestly, she didn't do a good enough job for me. Like, you're sent there to kill him and make sure he's dead.
Yeah.
She didn't necessarily do that.
She didn't. Nobody
She
did.
hit him a couple times. Yeah, he's on the ground bleeding and stuff like that. But, like, now's the time to be a savage. Like,
Dang
you
it,
need to
Ashley.
get down there and end this.
now
And
my
make
head,
sure
now my head
he's
is
done.
like, now my head is racing because it's like, what if Michael's still alive?
I don't think he is. But I think that they looked at each other, her and Constance. They were like, all right, you got this?
Listen, I don't have time to put this fate into anybody else's hand. I was sent here to do one job and one job only.
I'm gonna run him over 3-4 times.
Yeah. No, that wasn't good enough.
But I think he did die.
Yeah, he's dead.
He's dead.
Let's hope
yeah.
so.
Ugh. I really don't want to see this again. Like him
I
coming
wouldn't
around.
either. I know. I was like, we have to talk about the end.
He needs to die
So
completely.
let's get to the end a little bit. So, we see all of the witches back at the house. I would have liked to see Marie at the house, even though, well, she's not part of the coven. Anyway,
That's true.
I just want to see more of her.
Like down the
That's all it was.
street, like she's getting her hair done. Like okay, in the hair shop.
But we see everyone in the coven living a happy-go-lucky life. We see what's her name again? Oh my God,
Misty.
We get Misty
Nan.
and we get Nan.
Yeah.
I like that Nan is going back with Papa Legra.
And Nan.
I'm speaking Spanish.
Rolling Mars, girl.
But I love that she went back with him. That was good. But what did you guys think of pretty much the ending with Emily and Tim and the baby?
I was wondering, I was like, okay, this is going to end. And then I was like, totally forgot about them. And it was like, oh, 2020. So I'm like, oh, great. Well, now we have 2 years until this is going to happen. So I'm like, people out here protesting. She's like in front of Starbucks protesting. But like, I didn't think they were, I guess they were having sex the whole time in the bunker, but it's like, I didn't really think that they were going to like mate and have like a baby and it.
No.
Like,
That didn't happen. The bunkers weren't existent.
Right.
Do you get that?
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
this is them like not even knowing that.
Because
okay,
Mallory
that's why I was
went,
like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This is fate stepping in. They still would have met anyway.
Yes.
Right. Okay,
So
yeah.
Mallory went back in time, and there's like no bunkers, none of that. It didn't exist at all because she
Michael
killed him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the apocalypse never happened.
Never happened.
Okay, yeah. That's what see, that's what I said last episode.
Yes. So then, she's protesting where she would have been arrested.
Right.
Yes.
And he
remember that
is
from the beginning.
there actually, which I didn't know, and maybe he wouldn't have been there, but I'm assuming then he went to UCLA. I would have liked to see him on campus or something, just bring it around. If you had a little more time. But I have a few questions.
Okay. Let's do it.
First off, real quick, with Madison, her head explodes,
Yes.
but her spirit is still there, not existent.
She's in hell again.
She's in hell
at the
again.
Retail
department
store,
store.
Okay,
yeah.
I needed to get that clear. I knew that, but I'm just trying to think why her soul didn't exist. But never mind, they went back in time. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks for talking
Right.
that through with me. So the DNA.
Yes.
No, I like the DNA. So they talked about the DNA test. They talked about being Brazilian. I'm confused that Emily didn't die when she was birthing the new Antichrist. So this is a different type of Antichrist, clearly. I'm confused on how it didn't happen in Murder House. I guess it can
like
happen
to Vivian,
anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, like no new members of Murder House who just are moving in. They're not, impregnated by what's his name? Tate.
Yeah.
I just feel like, okay, they also have to have the Antichrist, according to Billy Dean, is that he has to be part spirit.
Right.
So in their soul or in their DNA, wouldn't they then be part spirit? So there has to be some connection with spirit being aliens, being their DNA. There has to be, of some kind.
Like, it has to be like from some type of like spirit and human connection.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, Nas in the chat
What's up, Nas?
said, I think he's along the same lines. He said, my theory about Tim and Emily was right. I wish they would have explained more about what made their DNA special.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Nas to know my @name. No, I'm just kidding, babe.
But
anyway,
honestly,
no, that is right,
like,
though.
I totally understand what you guys are saying, but I was just kind of, I wish if this was the route that we were going to go, one, how the show is going to end, two, with Emily and Timothy, I wish we would have gotten a little more before the finale.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just didn't really like that this was the end. Cause
I didn't like that it ended with them.
In my opinion, it's kind of like, well, we went through all of this because of what? But I do understand the point of, you know, like, you interrupting the future or fate or whatever, like what's meant to happen is going to happen no matter how you try to change it.
Sure.
But I just didn't really think that should have been the way how the show ended.
Yeah.
Per se.
Yeah, I get that. Also, it just didn't really come around with how the first Antichrist was. Like, none of the original music. The only thing was the baby was wearing plaid. They like to do... No, seriously, when it's real, like, when someone's evil, they make them wear plaid in the show. So,
really?
So, like, the baby in the first season, he was in green plaid, and then this is blue plaid.
Baby Michael was in plaid, too, when he was in the rock.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's in green plaid.
Okay.
So this green usually equals to some kind of evil, but blue means innocent. So I'm feeling that this new Antichrist has more of an innocence to him. I'm gonna like just assume that. I've weirdly been right about the colors and like how they all end up being. I don't know. I just think that maybe the next season has to be something like that.
Both of you are wearing green. And you have on green plaid. Oh,
I said that for a reason.
You know what?
What's happening? Somebody
I rebuke
save
it. Don't
me.
be putting the spirits on me, y'all. Look, I'm not the sponsor. I'm not the next.
You're not.
Yes, for
Let's
you
not even
guys.
start like last week with Elena's pen.
Oh my God. Yes, for our iTunes and Spotify listeners, these ladies have on green. I have on black. So please save me if something happens.
Well,
okay?
while we're talking to our listeners, let's let our AfterBuzz know. You guys, we produce after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows, from genres of reality TV, the Sci-Fi Channel, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve you guys, but we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of the channels. By subscribing to the channel, YouTube will actually suggest content that's tailor-made for you and what you want to watch, and you guys will help continue to have AfterBuzz to grow. And if you're worried about those notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out all of the other ones as well. Let us know you did so in the comments. We'll shout you on air like we always do. But for now, thank you guys for being our best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Absolutely.
That came out like butter.
Like
Like,
butter,
real
baby.
paraphrase too.
Butter.
I just want to point something out in the group chat
Yes.
that Karina mentioned it first and then someone repeated it later, but they're calling that Emily and Timothy probably had sex at the Cortez and created their baby. Or they were looking at Murder House, and then they just got like horny and went to the bathroom and they were like, let's just do this real quick.
They are
Okay.
some little horny little.
So I know that we don't necessarily have predictions since this was the season finale, but maybe let's get into some predictions about what we think is going to happen for the next season of American Horror Story.
I'm with it.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so I've seen a common theme throughout the chat and through some articles I've read. Do you guys think that season 9 of American Horror Story is going to be either some sort of continuation? Is it going to be about Emily and Timothy? What do you think? Did we miss any clues about what season 9 could possibly be about?
To be honest, in true American Horror Story fashion, it's like they everything's all connected, you know, in one type of way, but it's like they've never had a season that's continued over. So I feel like next season will have to be something different, but everything will tie up. You know what I mean? Okay. So I'm like, we kind of predicted it may be aliens next season. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of sticking with that.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be like Apocalypse 2.
Like. What if they just did like completely back in time, like AD, or like right next to, like, you know, like BC.
Before
like
Christ.
Yeah, they just went like way back.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, just screw it. Like they're just like, I don't know, let's do everything left field and bring in aliens, like ancient aliens.
Honestly, I don't care what it is. I just hope that it's not an apocalypse.
I don't want it to be either. Like,
and trust me, like I'm saying that with love. Like I enjoyed this season, I really did, but I'm over it. So, like you said, we've never really had a continuation situation. So I'm hoping whatever the next season will be, that it'll hold my attention like this season did. Mm-hmm. This was a good season.
The middle of the season was great. Mm-hmm. And if they ended it there and then made this part like a really, really long version of this the next season, I think we even would be like cool with that. Like we'd be like, oh, okay, like that's interesting and we're learning more. It's just like now it's just like kind of like a letdown since we were just so happy about the middle.
Just a little bit, yeah.
So of all the seasons, where does this sit for you? Is it in your top 3, top 5, top 6? What do you think?
I'm like, oh.
Okay, Murder House will forever be the favorite.
I love Murder House, yeah.
I there's a lot that I didn't like about this season, but I did love it in the times that I did love it. Okay. It's just after the Halloween episode where it got real dark, I was just like, ugh. Oh, no, Murder House was so much better. And then I love Coven. So I would say, maybe this is 4th, because I would say first Murder House, second Coven, third would be Hotel for me. Okay. I think. And then this one.
There's only 8 seasons, but I mean, this is definitely top 5.
Okay.
It's not like, I feel like my like Roanoke was like last for me. Like Roanoke is at the bottom of the totem pole for me.
I appreciate it, but I get it. It's not the best.
Okay. I think I'm going to put this maybe number 5 for me.
Yeah, I'm like, it's definitely top 5. It may be 4 or 5.
Yeah. I think Murder House, I'll say that's number 1. But you know, the funny thing is, I remember when American Horror Story first started, and I think I only made it through half of the first episode of Murder House. And I was like, I'm never watching this show again.
Corny.
And then I went back and I was like, okay, I'm going to watch it. It's creepy, but I like this type of stuff. So I watched it. So thank God I continued and watched it. But yeah.
I went back because everybody was talking about it. Because I was like, I felt like it was like a Lifetime show or something. I was like, what is this? And I was like,
I started working at TMZ and everyone was talking about Coven and like they kept mentioning our name. Mm-hmm. So like they're like, okay, well you have to watch American Horror Story. So I'm like, all right, fine. And then I was all about it and then just binged everything like 8 times, and that was back in 2013. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I feel like there was a lot of clues back then and I need to rewatch everything. Mm-hmm. But like, you know, the latex suit came back and we didn't really like tie in where that came from. It was just a part of his childhood, I guess. I don't know. It's like, there's just a lot of things that I wish they talked about, and I hope that next season there's a lot more. Okay. Someone really quick said, I think that the kids from Asylum who had spells put on them not to remember each other and their initials are E.T. I think that's a clue. So I think everything is going back to Asylum, and we need to rewatch Asylum.
See, that's what I thought too at the last scene before we kind of started. I was like, that last scene of Emily and Timothy walking in their house, like being parents, taking their shoes off or whatever in the kitchen. That whole setup literally looked like Kit and his girlfriend, like before that whole thing happened or whatever. So, and then it was like at the same time, but seeing the little son in the rocker was kind of like back to this at the same time about like Michael and like him being the Antichrist or whatever. So I don't know. It'll be an interesting tie-in to see how they came about. Well, we're all gonna be like, wow.
And those you know, Anton LaVey and everyone came back at an interesting time. I feel like they came to them while he was super young so that this doesn't happen again where the Antichrist is killed so easily. So I don't know. Maybe next season 2 will be about him being raised by Anton LaVey, who everyone assumes is dead. So just kind of sleeping on everyone.
Okay. I'm liking where this is going.
I don't know if it gets real satanic. I can't watch it. Like it's just like
Yeah.
it's too. It's like.
It'll be
I'm
too
not
much.
into
Like,
it. I'm
we
not
need a
into
break.
it. Yeah. So let's hope that there's some kind of balance.
Yes.
I'm into the witches and all that, but
Same.
like you can't bring Satan around all the time.
I'm with you. So yeah, if you guys in the chat or you guys listening to us on iTunes or Spotify have any predictions or thoughts about what season 9 of American Horror Story could possibly be, make sure you tweet us, message us, all of that great stuff. Ladies, we're done.
I'm like, should we shout a couple more people out?
Yeah, let's get a
Well,
I'm like, this will
Elena,
hurt.
you guys can see her on DC. I think it's DC chat or something.
Yes.
Yeah, if you go to the DC part of AfterBuzz,
AfterBuzz.
you can find her. She has so much going on
Yes, we
here. So
all are on other shows
And
here
her
at
social-
AfterBuzz, so we're not
Elena's-
going anywhere.
I'll be on Real Housewives. Talking about the complete opposite.
Yeah. I'm
right,
like,
let's-
I do Love and Hip Hop on Tuesdays, so yeah, we'll still be
Yeah.
around.
All right, so let's give you guys, for the last time for season 8, a few more shout outs in the chat.
Sounds good.
We're gonna do one each or two each.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Nas always.
Yes.
So,
I'm like, we can shout somebody else out.
yeah, I think it's Karina. Karina always has something awesome to say. Thanks for being so involved, you guys. Jeremy, love you too.
Yes, Billie Jean Girl 24. We've seen you in here throughout the entire season.
Shout out to Gigi Bazette. She says seasons 1, 3, and 5 are tied together. Seasons 2, 4, and 6 are tied together. So she thinks season 9 will kind of be a part of the 2, 4, 6 of like what this one did for 1, 3, and 5.
That makes a
Awesome.
lot of sense.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shout out to
Sounds great.
Scrappy's mom. She's been in here hanging with us.
Yes.
She's like, Roanoke is awful. Hey, you guys should rewatch it. There's value in all of
I'm
them.
gonna have to maybe before
Yes.
next season. I'm gonna have to rewatch.
So
Roanoke, 'cause
that
Roanoke
will
is at the
be
bottom.
everyone's American Horror Story homework then. We're going to rewatch Roanoke and we're going to rewatch Asylum since that
Yes.
could possibly be part of season 9. So again, thank you guys for hanging out with us this entire
Absolutely.
season. It has been great. We love how boisterous you guys, how honest you guys are, but make sure you keep it respectful. But until next season, ladies, do you want to tell everyone where to find you on social media?
Yes, you guys can follow me on Instagram at @the_Kayla Renee, and then you guys can come back and watch me on Tuesdays for Love and Hip Hop.
Hey guys, I'm Jennifer Leone, and you can follow me on Twitter at Jennifer Leone TV, and I am on Instagram, JLeon.tv. It's difficult, but you'll find it.
And I'm Ashley Allen. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Ashley Reed Allen. Again, guys, it's been a
real.
pleasure. And we will see you next season right here on AfterBuzz TV for American Horror Story. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.